Hello, in this problem, we'll be simplifying trigonometric expressions. This question says, simplify the following trigonometric expressions so that the final answer contains only one trigonometric function and contains no fractions, and the function being sine squared theta, cotangent squared theta, and secant squared theta. So first we can start by putting aside sine squared theta. We can only work with this trigonometric function. A lot of formulas for this specific function. Then we can work with cotangent squared theta, cotangent being the opposite of tangent. So it can just be simplified as this. Cotangent being 1 over tangent squared, since it's the opposite of tangent for the reciprocal. So we can start with that. And for secant squared, secant being the reciprocal of cosine, we can also keep that in mind, that we can change it into 1 divided by cosine squared, or 1 divided by cosine. So now that we have that, let's go back to the problem. So we can leave sine squared alone, and we can convert cotangent squared into 1 over tangent squared. Since it's the same value, there's no changes, we can just have a squared tangent at the bottom. And we can convert secant squared into 1 over cosine squared. Once we have that, we can ignore the tangent and combine the sine squared and the cosine squared. So let's do that for the second step, which would be this one right here. So now we have sine squared divided by cosine squared times 1 divided by tangent squared. So this is a direct formula to tangent, tangent being sine over cosine. So in our next step, we can convert tangent squared, we can convert sine squared divided by cosine squared into tangent squared, simplifying into the formula tangent squared divided by tangent squared being exactly 1. And if there's way too many tangents, we can also take a different approach with this, being simplifying the tangent and breaking it down, which would be in this page. It's a bit more messier, but you have the same answer. So first step, sine squared, set it aside. Convert cotangent squared into 1 over tangent squared, and secant squared over 1 over cosine squared. Next step, we multiply the sine squared and the cosine 1 over cosine squared into sine squared over cosine squared, which would be this right here. And the next step, this is where we can break it down. 1 over tangent squared, that would simplify into 1 divided by sine squared divided by cosine squared. And what we can do is just keep change flip. We keep the top and we change the bottom, which would be sine squared over cosine squared. So we keep the first sine squared over cosine squared the same, this one right here gets changed into the bottom, and this one right here, it gets flipped. With this, we can cancel out cosine squared, and sine squared, leaving us with the exact same answer for 1. That is it. There is no trigonometric functions in this equation because everything cancels out.